It is now April 2020. The coronavirus pandemic and its fallout are still in the early stages. And this is going to change us. It is going to change us politically, culturally, and economically. Today I want to talk about one sliver of that change, and that is how the legal industry is going to be affected by the pandemic. If you are a lawyer, you would be making a big mistake if you aren't thinking about these changes. I'm not claiming to be a prophet. I just want to give you some of my thoughts that I hope makes you better prepared. There are 3 areas of the legal industry I want to discuss. First, the coronavirus is going to affect demographics. Second, practice areas. And third, practice methods. That is, how we practice law. Let's talk about how the demographics will be affected. We know that this virus is much more dangerous to the wiser of us in our community. In California, 50 is the average age of active lawyers, 64 the average age of inactive lawyers, and 62 is the average age of judges. But the numbers aren't that simple. If we look at the breakdown in ages of lawyers, we can see that it is very heavily weighted over the age of 50. That means in terms of those at risk from this virus, there is a very large number of established lawyers and partners at firms, as well as judges and mediators and arbitrators at risk. If even 1% of that group is affected, which would be a low estimate, that would be a huge loss to the legal industry of experience, capability, and relationships. But it's worse than that. There are also recruiters, paralegals, court reporters, clerks, and other staff that can be lost. Even a small loss in these areas would mean a large demographic shift. And that's not the only thing that will affect demographics. Bar exams are being postponed, LSAT tests, graduations, and even applications. So demographically, we're going to lose lawyers at both ends of the spectrum. Now let's talk about practice areas. What happens to M&A or business litigation if the clients go out of business? Are there auto accidents if no one is driving? Will there be a bankruptcy boom? I can't even begin to imagine what the fallout is going to be, but it's very clear that there will be a large shift in thriving practice areas. Lastly, how we practice is going to change dramatically as well. The legal industry has now been forced to make changes that were occurring anyway, but slowly. Lawyers are learning to practice remotely and more efficiently, but also judges and courtroom staff are working remotely, and even mediators and arbitrators. When things open up, not everyone will go back to the way things have been. So, I hope you take some time to think about all these changes and figure out ways to adapt, because there will be opportunities in the fallout.